Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hello! Welcome to the Bristol Flyers Podcast. We are powered by Matchday Live. My name is Joel Osborne and his name is Sam Hardy.
Hello! That was my best impression of how you said that then, Jolie.
How are you, mate? You right? How's that back holding up?
Oh, do you know what? It's getting better, but you should have seen me at the game on Friday. I was literally sometimes lying down to announce. You were there, weren't you?
Well, after we did the podcast last week, you had a good lie down on the floor here in the studio.
It's not been a good week for me, Joel. It's getting better, though.
Good. How's life with WOB comps as well?
Oh, it's been a wild week. It's been really good. We've got loads going on at the moment. Loads of player sponsors that we're looking at. Mainly rugby we look at. Obviously they're principal partners for the Flyers as well, which is really cool. And Bristol City. So yeah, just lots of meetings, but it's been fun.
Yeah, well, it's been very fun in the world of Bristol Flyers because Bristol Flyers are heading back to Birmingham for the SLB Trophy Final.
Birmingham.
We'll be playing either Leicester Riders or Newcastle Eagles. However, we don't know who we're playing yet because their game isn't for another couple of weeks. We've got producer Dan with us as always. Dan, how are you, sir?
Very well. Very excited. What a week.
It has. What a week indeed.
What a week.
We've got a lot of meetings to have because I think we've got to do a podcast. Well, surely with podcasts going to the Cup Trophy Final. Surely.
Oh, podcast at the Trophy Final, big time.
We have to. We have to.
So we have a meeting about that. Also, by the way, one thing I noticed, the day after the Trophy Final, we're all off to Estonia for the EMBL. The day after. So let's imagine that we win the trophy on the Sunday, and then suddenly we're paying for a little bit of excess baggage. Because the trophy's coming with us, surely.
I don't think the trophy will come with us.
I think so.
Do you reckon?
I think the trophy's going to stay with us everywhere we go.
It'll be like the Gloucester cricket guys who won the T20 came to the Flyers on Friday and they brought their trophy
They
with
did
them.
bring the trophy in the house at SGS.
They were loving it. It was kind of funny, but yeah, good time. That would be amazing, though.
Yeah, it'd be really exciting. So we've got lots to talk about because we want to do something special for the Flyers podcast at the Trophy Final. Coming up on this week's show, we are joined in studio by Ebuka Ekwegh. We've just finished recording this chat because we are now travelling back in time to the start of the episode. This was a great chat, wasn't it, Sam?
He's a good guy. He's been around a long time. He's got interesting, goes away, comes back a little bit. So yeah, really, really good.
We talk about a whole bunch of different things, including this Friday's game against his former club, Essex Rebels, which should be super exciting indeed. We also get to our little quick-fire, wrong answers only questions, and we answer a few questions from the mailbag as well. So I think, Sam, without further ado, we should probably just get straight to the interview. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Here is our chat with Bristol Flyers star Ebuka Ekwegh.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Bristol Flyers Podcast, powered by Matchday Live, where we are very pleased to be joined in studio by Ebuka Ekwegh.
Hello.
Ebu, welcome to the Flyers Podcast. We've been meaning to get you on the podcast for so long, and we've finally managed to get round to it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, man, it's good, man. Back home, enjoying it.
Mate, it is great to have you back in Bristol. How are you finding enjoying being back in the Flyers, and especially now being part of the first team program?
Yeah, man, it's been good. Obviously, something that I've always wanted to do since I've started playing. So now being given the opportunity to do it it's a good feeling.
It's quite tough, isn't it? Because you sort of been playing for the second team, and then you suddenly you go away to Essex, you come back to Bristol, and all of a sudden a lot's probably changed being now part of the first team setup.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously I'm not playing as much as I've been playing in the past few years, but I guess it's just part of the process. Like, it was something that I put myself in, so I'm not really going to shy away from it. I just got to really get stuck in and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, we had D'Lo on the podcast last week, didn't we, Sam, from our 20th anniversary episode, and I sort of see very similarities between yourself and him, because obviously when he was first with us in the first team program, he was saying like it was a struggle for him to get minutes and he had to really earn them. And you're sort of doing the same now with the first team. You've sort of had that opportunity with Cheshire very recently. You sort of took that with both hands.
Yeah.
How are you finding it sort of being around that first team setup and training with the guys week in, week out, and kind of how's that helping you develop your game?
Well, obviously, I did it when I was younger, like when I was 18 in the college. I did it again later on in my time, and then obviously coming back to it, different teammates, but it's been great. Like, all the guys are cool. Obviously, Coach K is cool, Nick, Chris, everyone's cool.
How intense are those sessions, though?
Yeah, man, our training sessions are very intense. Like, it doesn't matter really what we're doing, like whether it's 5v5 live, just defensive drills, just everything's on point.
Who are you normally matching up against in training? What sort of players?
Evan, Jared, P, those guys pretty much.
Yeah. We were just chatting in the intro before you came in about the about Sunday and making the SLB Trophy Final.
Yeah.
That must have been a pretty good atmosphere in the locker room after picking up that win, right?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, coach was very happy. Obviously, being the 20th anniversary, it means a lot to him. I'm sure it means a lot to the fans and everyone who's involved. As for us, like the players, we've been like working like really hard like recently. Obviously, we're on a winning streak as well. Changing room vibes are high, but they're always high anyway, like whether we're losing or winning. And everyone's just like really gelling together.
Obviously, I was travelling with you guys on the bus.
Yeah.
And we bought the speaker out on the back of the bus, didn't we?
Yeah, man. I had to get myself on the aux, you know. That's man in Damon's role.
Is it? I was going to ask you who the locker room DJ is.
Yeah.
Is that you? Is that you
me,
picking all the
Damon,
tunes?
Me, Damon, Keedy, never Raf.
Never.
There's Raf speaker, but never Raf.
Why is that? It's just terrible choices.
It's not really a Raf situation.
Because I was going to say, because like I don't think this season we've bought it out on the bus on the journey home, right? You guys usually whip it out in the locker room pre-game, post-game, but actually having it on the bus as well. I mean, we were sat at the front of the bus. The way it works for the listener is staff are always at the front of the bus. Then you've got like a little kitchenette area, and then in the back you've got the players, and they're just booming this music. And let me tell you, it was a journey through the genres when we were on the bus yesterday. I got some here. We started off with some very heavy rap music with probably some of the most outrageous lyrics I've ever heard.
Go on then, sing some.
No, that's not for the podcast. Then we moved on to some early noughties hip hop and R&B, a bit of John Legend and a bit of Jordan Sparks, Chris Brown.
Sparks?
Yeah, that's Corey.
That
was Corey.
That was Corey. It's classic. Some
Which
of those songs.
The John Legend was Ordinary People.
Oh, nice,
He
yeah.
must have been like, whispered, yo, can you put some John Legend on? I was like, alright, bro.
What other music did we have? Do you remember?
Kendall was putting a lot of stuff like old American hip hop. Everyone was requesting Burna Boy. It was like everyone was kind of requesting different things, so I was just trying to dip into different things. Even Zoe as well. Zoe, she was enjoying the music. She asked for When I See You. That song by I can't even pronounce her name, Fantasia or something like that.
Okay.
Who was putting the metal on? No one?
Nobody.
No metal?
That would have been you, Sam. You should have come along with us.
I would have.
sorry.
You all would have been like, what on earth are you doing?
How does it work? Do you have like a playlist, a team playlist that you put on in the dressing room?
I think obviously we all kind of listen to similar music, so that obviously makes it easier. But yeah, like in the gym, one day I'll pull up with the speaker and then I'll play music. One day it could be Damon, and then it could be Keedy, but it's generally us three.
Yeah. Have you introduced some of the American players to UK grime yet?
Yeah, I have. Probably the first one I introduced was probably, I say Kendall and Damond.
They like it?
Yeah, they do like it. Kendall's he said he likes Nems. There's an artist called Nems, so I put that on for him. He said he likes it. Sometimes they grill it though. Sometimes they don't like it. Like if I put the real like grime stuff on, they're not really.
The grimiest of grime.
Well, you talk about that bus journey back as well. I mean, from Cheshire on to the semi-final second leg. I think I saw Keedy Johnson go live on his Instagram. Did you see that?
Keedy loves going live.
He does.
Like randomly, like I remember one time I must have woke up on a Sunday and he just live at like 10:30 in the morning or something. But
yeah. I remember Halloween. Do you remember Halloween? He was like doing his
yeah.
face paint. He was like dressing up as a clown or something, and he was doing his face paint whilst live on Instagram, just chatting to like fans and followers on there. It was great. I think people are sort of starting to see like just how tight knit a group this team is this season. Because I think like you only have to watch the post game interviews on DAZN, and you see everyone gathering around Keedy and Jared and making like barking like a dog and like all that kind of stuff. But it's just such a tight knit group, isn't it?
Yeah, like I don't know, like it's a thing where sometimes like when you have new teammates and stuff, it's hard to gauge people. But I think like me personally, I like Corey, Les, like us guys were like really good at picking up characters early and like being able to like get it out of people. Do you know what I mean? So like, for example, Jared's quiet, but after like a week or so, like he started opening up a bit more. We kind of like forced that out of him. Same thing with Keedy, like obviously Keedy was here last year, but like I didn't really speak to him that much, like early doors. But then now, like if I want to go to his crib, I'll just be like, yo, like I'm pulling up. And he'd be like, yeah, that's cool.
Does it help in the fact that, like, you know, like you say, you guys already have that core? I mean, obviously didn't play with the team last year, but you've been around the program, you've been training around the first team for a number of years.
Yeah.
Does it help that, like, you've got that core group of guys that already know each other, and then when the American players are coming in, it's just a quick case of, you know, embedding them into your group that's already there? Because a lot of teams, they have to bring in new players every year, and it can take quite long for them to actually build that chemistry, right?
Yeah. Like for me, when I was in college, like Les was here, so I remember like he's always been like my big brother. So we've always had a relationship, and then obviously Corey's like one of my best friends. Pasquale is also one of my best friends. So us guys like we're always like making sure that we make use of the time that we have together. Obviously Evans like come in, and he's been like someone who I think that I've known for a while, even though like this is our first year like actually playing together or whatever. So
I've noticed on Instagram your handle is Quiet Soul.
yeah.
Tell us where that nickname comes from.
Okay, my original nickname is actually Ebo, and I got that because when I first started playing at SGS, Roy Owen gave me the nickname of Zebo. It was like Roy and Coach, I think. And then it just got changed to Ebo. But then like the Quiet Soul stuff is like just being me, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just thought of it one day and I was like, I'm going to run with it.
Yeah.
So.
Have you seen the chill guy memes doing the rounds on?
Yeah.
Are you a pretty chill guy? You would say?
I'm a chill guy. Everyone knows me as a chill guy. So.
Just a chill guy on the Bristol Flyers podcast.
Yeah.
Can you stand up and put the hands in the pockets like a chill guy right now?
Yeah. But I'm a chill guy.
Can that be the picture?
Just a chill guy on the
Me and
Bristol
you
Flyers.
and then the dog like this.
Yeah. I should probably call the episode just a chill guy on the Bristol Flyers podcast. That's great. Yeah, that's great. One of the things I did want to bring up is Christmas. Christmas is around the corner. Any plans for the holiday season this year?
I mean, normally I just like spend the time with my family. Family's big for me, so I make sure I spend time with them. Sometimes I might, like towards the evenings, I might just pop out and see the guys. Like I did it a few years ago when I was here before. But yeah, that's probably it.
I was going to say, because actually, if you look at the schedule through Christmas this year, it's quite a friendly schedule for us. It's not like we're having 2 games a week like we're currently having right now. I think we've got the game next week, Feilingen, on the 19th.
Yeah.
No games until after Christmas. 27th, we're off to Leicester. And then after that, there isn't a game, I don't think, until early in the new year. So it's quite friendly, isn't it, in terms of, like, you do get that spare time to yourself.
Yeah.
I imagine Coach will also be throwing some practice sessions in there as well throughout Christmas. So really, it's kind of like it's just business as usual for you guys. You don't really get that time off that a lot of other businesses, so to say, like we would get in the office. You don't really get that time off, right?
Yeah, well, in training today, he did say that we have like a few days off, maybe like 5 or something. Obviously, he just wants us to like rest and really like be ready for the new year because it's going to be very busy.
What do the guys do over Christmas? Let's be chilling.
It depends. Like sometimes people go over each other's houses. I know Zoe likes to do some stuff, so she's very catering to the Americans. I think she's doing something this year, so I think a couple of the guys are going to go there.
Does Nassim get involved then a little?
Oh yeah.
All the time?
Yeah, Nassim and Zoe, they're great. So
Nice. Is Coach looking to take you guys out for like a Christmas meal, do you reckon, this year?
I don't know, but he owes us a Nando's. I mean,
Does he?
What happened? Half-cut shot?
Yeah, I made it. Like he told me to do it, I did it, and then we've been waiting for that Nando's for about 3 weeks now.
So is this you officially calling him out? Go on.
Yeah, I'm calling them out. If you see this coach, like, we want a Nando's, please.
And what would be your Nando's order?
Sunset Burger.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was going to say, because like you guys are pretty much going out for a team meal every single week now with the way we're playing. We're on a 5-game win streak, and Coach is obviously taking you out for meals. Must be the free food you're getting. This is why we're playing so well.
Maybe, man. Shout out to all the sponsors.
Yeah. I was going to say, because you guys are actually, after this podcast, you are off for a team meal tonight, aren't you? Because one of our elite sponsors, MPW Plumbing and Heating, they are taking you guys out for a curry.
Yeah, I haven't been to that place. I've heard good things though. So
It's Mike's local and he loves it, so.
which Mike Ekins?
Mike Ekins local, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It must be good there.
I swear, whenever the American players come over, they've like never had a curry before, and it's always their first experience of a curry when they come over to the UK, right?
Maybe I don't know.
I think Zoe cooks some curries on the bus
does.
back for him, right?
We're talking about with the poppadoms and all the different,
The authentic,
the authentic stuff.
If you say authentic, it probably is nothing like that in India, but the authentic British Indian food.
Ebu, let's talk about life on the court. You've gone through quite a journey as a player, of course, starting with the junior program and the Flyers second team, and then you sort of have slowly risen through the divisions over the years. So, I mean, you've gone from Div 2 with Flyers 2 to Div 1 with Solent and Essex, and then now you're making that step up this season into the top flight, and you don't really see many players go on that journey where they go up through the divisions like that.
Yeah.
How are you looking back on that whole journey for yourself?
Yeah, man, it's been like a crazy journey, crazy ride. Obviously starting off at SGS, actually playing for like the second team, making my way to the first team, playing Division 4, played Division 2, Division 1, and then now BBL, sorry, SLB. My bad.
Yeah, it's easy to do. We used to have a bucket on the podcast last year where you'd be doing a forfeit, but yeah, we got rid of that, didn't we, Sam?
We did.
Yeah, like you said, you don't really see too many people do that journey. Like you said, Greg Streets, for example, Roy Owens, they'll do this the step up from Div 1 to SLB, but to make that journey all the way through from like Div 4, like you were saying, all the way through into the top flight, it speaks volumes about your perseverance, your attitude towards playing basketball, and embracing the process of working your way up through the main divisions.
You're the Jamie Vardy of
Yeah, literally.
Nah.
The Jamie Vardy of basketball,
To be
mate.
fair, he's a clinical guy, so
Take that.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Talk to us through some of the differences you're noticing from going up through the divisions each time. What are some of the biggest things on the court in terms of the standard of basketball that you're coming up against?
I mean, to be fair, like being at SGS, all of the training sessions, like Chris Bourne was my D2 coach. Guy Coles was doing D4 when I was doing it as well. So it's been everything's kind of consistent here. Like the training, like you know what you're gonna expect. You know that you have to like come and work hard and things like that. So it's pretty much all consistent throughout all the levels, like here. Playing for other teams as well, like you see the difference of style of coaching, and like you meet new players and you see differences in levels. But like, yeah, man, I feel like British basketball is going in a good direction, it's going in the right direction. Division 1, obviously last year, obviously I played for Essex, and we did well last year. And the league for D1 this year has got like way better as a whole. So
yeah, because we're seeing a lot more players from what was the BBL now playing in Division 1. There's another Bristol team playing in Division 1, for example, and that's got players like Danadozi. They've just seen the recruitment drive that they've been doing at Bristol. What are they called? Bristol Hurricanes.
Yeah, they've got all. Well, we talked about this before. The Plymouth players, haven't they?
Yeah,
So
Elvisi Dusha, George Dangakodo,
Ubiaro.
Ubiaro's there now as well. Wow. So like there's a real high level you're seeing now in NBL Division 1. Are you noticing as you go up through those divisions that like you're coming up against quicker players or more athletic players, or if you just put your finger on one thing that's the biggest difference?
Yeah, definitely. Like athleticism is a big thing. Your IQ in the game, like that's a big thing. Obviously, the players are around a bit quicker. Like there's a lot more plays like through the levels. Players are more skilled, more talented. But yeah, like it's a good level to be at for sure.
What year were you playing Div 4?
Probably it was 20. I want to say 20. I joined in 2015, so I think like 2 years after, 1 year after, so maybe like 2016, 2017.
Wow. Yeah. What about the differences you're noticing between like the off-court side of things? So like how you're traveling to games, or the amount of court time you're getting, or like the free perks you're getting out of being a player. I imagine you're noticing a lot more as you sort of slowly go up through the levels, right?
Yeah, like minibuses. Obviously, we don't really use minibuses anymore.
Yeah.
So
Luxury
obviously,
now.
no disrespect to using minibuses and stuff. Obviously, you have to be humble. But yeah, like we're flying to games. And doing all those type of things, so it's good.
And we talk about on the court as well. I know you haven't had too much first team action on the court this season. But you mentioned about being around the players and how that's improved your game. And like we say, we mentioned that Cheshire Phoenix game the other week where I think we were down big at the time.
Yeah.
Coach wanted to just completely shift up the starting five, and you get your opportunity. Just talk us through that moment in that game. Were you expecting to come on the court at that moment?
Nah, but you always kind of have to be ready. But it was a bit weird, obviously, because I hadn't played and it was in like the third quarter. My body's like cold and I wasn't really expecting it. But I mean, my whole thing was that I just needed to make sure I didn't look bad. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, you came on, made one of the toughest buckets I've seen from the wing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He literally came in. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I got it here. He scored 5 quick points, and essentially you spark the run that gets us back into the game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was tired though. Like, I haven't played the game for like a while, so the speed of the game was like, it was quite a lot. But yeah, I thought we were gonna come back and win it, but unfortunately we couldn't.
Yeah.
You hit that. You got a tough 2 in the middle. I think you actually got fouled, but they didn't call it. And then you hit a 3 from the corner as well, which was nice. And then another 3 just went short just after that, didn't it? Which is a shame. But honestly, that was a weird, like, right, you 5 off, you 5 on, and it changed everything for that game. And it was so exciting. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, man, it was a great experience. Obviously,
Yeah.
getting my first points and stuff. So
How do you like manage that, like, physically and mentally, where it's like you're getting games where you don't get any minutes at all, and then you're getting the opportunities, and just having to always stay ready? Like, how are you managing that?
I mean, it's a journey. Obviously, like, I've spoken to guys that have been in my situation before, like older guys and guys that have been here before, and I always like keep in contact with them just to ask for advice and stuff like that. Like, sometimes it's not always easy to like be sitting down all the time, but it's a journey and it's a process, so I will get my opportunity and I will seize it.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw that with the Cheshire game, and obviously now we've got a big game coming up, because I want to get onto this actually. I want to talk about the SLB Cup. Of course, this weekend marks the start of the SLB Cup competition, and of all the possible teams that Bristol Flyers could have been drawn against, we were drawn against your former team in Essex Rebels.
I know, man. You know, it's funny, before the game, I can't remember what game we were playing. But obviously, they were doing the draws at half time. So I was like, just something in me was just like, yeah, we're going to get Essex. And then it just happened. Like, and it was funny because Marcus was one who drew it out. Marcus was like one of my good friends as well. Yeah. So it was just a bit weird. But yeah.
What was your reaction when Marcus Delpech drew out Essex Rebels that you're going to be playing against?
I mean, I didn't actually see him do it, but I just saw it on social media, innit? And I was just like, I just knew something. I knew something like that was gonna happen. Like, it was just like it was meant to be type thing.
Yeah, because of course you played with them last year in NBL Div 1. Are there like a lot of players that are still on the team this year that you would have played with last season?
Yeah, there's there's a couple guys that have come up from the Division 2 side. A couple guys, like some of my close friends, are still on the team. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're not obviously in this game. We don't want an upset, but I do hope we get at least one upset out of the 5 fixtures that have a have an NBL 1 team in them. That'd be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Obviously not for us. Obviously not for us.
No, thank you.
What's that moment going to be like for you when you go back to the Essex Sport Arena and catch up with some of your old teammates?
It's going to be quite surreal. Obviously, one of my close friends actually passed away, and she used to play for the women's team. So if I get to play, then obviously I'm going to kind of dedicate what I do to her in it. So, yeah, man. And then obviously seeing some of my close friends, like recently we've been bantering each other. I spoke to like my friend Luke this morning. Speak to Karen every day. Karen's injured right now, so he hasn't been playing. DJ is playing, so yeah, it's going to be cool to play against them, obviously. Yeah.
Talk us through some of their players then. So who are the key players that Flyers fans should be looking out for on Friday's game?
To be fair, I can't lie, they got a few guys who are good. Like, we're not like, we had a meeting this morning, like film, and we're not taking anybody like for granted. So it's going to be a good game. Luke's obviously probably one of their best players. They got a young boy called Emmanuel Canway, tough guy. Joe Hart used to play for Plymouth, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's playing there, is he?
Yeah, he's there.
Good shooter, yeah.
Yeah, good shooter. Yeah, they got some good guys there for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's really important not to take that game for granted, because, you know, you talk about players like Luke Prasumbru. He actually played for the Solent team that beat us in the trophy semi-final a few years ago. So, like, we know full well what these Div 1 teams can do, right?
I know he's going to be thinking about that as well.
Yeah. And they want, like, not that we don't want it, but like it's a huge opportunity, so they really want it, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. It's a big opportunity for them to play against a SLB team. Obviously, we expect that all of those guys are going to come out and try to play hard. But on the flip side, like, we're not taking anything for granted. At the moment, like, we're on a win streak, and everyone's in this mode of we want to win. So it doesn't really matter who we're going to face.
Has Coach K spoken to maybe not the guys that are familiar with the program, but as Coach K said to the guys, like some of the new players, for example, the American players, just about some of the threats that some of these lower league teams can do? You know, we've been in that experience of losing to lower league teams. We ourselves used to be a lower league team that in this same competition we did upset a BBL team at the time. Is he saying about that, like keeping you guys? How is he keeping you guys mentally focused for the game?
Yeah, well, we had a few days off because it's been quite heavy, but today we were back to it, and we had film straight away. And the good thing about coaches, coach isn't taking anyone for granted either. Like, he did a full scout, and everyone was locked in. He also mentioned the fact that Solent beat the team back then, and he also mentioned the fact that we beat teams as well in the same position. So nothing's getting taken for granted, for sure.
Dan, you had something to add, my man?
Well, look, I mean, it's a great team, great arena, and I've looked up, great mascot as well.
Yeah.
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
Look at her.
What a character.
Wow. I didn't know this. Inspired by Boudica, apparently.
Yeah.
Old Roman enemy of the Romans. So, Queen Bee, watch out for her as well.
Wow.
Definitely.
Exciting times. Well, a reminder to Flyers fans, by the way, that game against Essex Rebels is not being broadcast on DAZN. So that means if you want to watch the game, you either have to do it the old-fashioned way by watching on Live Stats, or you can go down to the Essex Sport Arena and check it out in person yourself, which I hear is a great game day experience. And I think tickets are still available for that one right now. So if you want to go to the Essex Rebels website, you can do. Alternatively, you can follow the game, as you say, on Live Stats. Or Jack and I, actually, I'm not going to be there for the game on Friday. I've got some friends coming up into town, so I'm going to go see them. But I think I'm sending Jack and I'm sending Will Cooper to the game to cover it on Flyers Social. So do follow us at Bristol Flyers on all major social platforms as well. Ebu, one final thing we want to chat about before we dive into the next section of the pod is a little section called Run It Back. So it helps us learn more about our players. This is the first time we've had you on the podcast. So let's run it all the way back to when you first started playing basketball. Can you remember how you first got into the sport?
It was actually in secondary school. Danny James, I know you guys know Danny James. He used to come to my school to do like sessions and stuff. So I think I must have like forgot my PE kit one time in the change room, and I saw that there was basketball going on. So I asked him about if I could like join in, and he let me join in. And then since then, that's basically how it started. Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing what forgetting your PE kit can do in school, isn't it?
Is that in Bristol?
Yeah, St. Bede's. I used to go St. Bede's.
Oh yeah, nice.
Wow, that's amazing. Was it always basketball? Did you play other sports as well?
Like in school, I was pretty. Like there wasn't really one sport I was so into. Football was probably my main sport, but I kind of played everything, like cricket, rugby, damn near everything.
Who's your football team?
Liverpool.
Oh, my man.
Yes, sir.
I know you've also, when you were at SGS, am I right in thinking that you sort of know some guys that eventually went on to play for City? Or was it Bears? I can't remember.
It's a couple guys. George Klosko used to play. He went to my school as well,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He comes watch you a little bit as well. He comes down.
Yeah, I think he does. I know he's played for Bears. Couple people that went to college with played for Bears as well. Anton Semenyo played for City, and now he's in the Prem playing for Bournemouth. So
and killing it as well.
Yeah, he is.
Man, he's always been good.
Do you remember he once came down to the Flyers? And,
I think I was in Southampton those times. But
he literally like at half time came on to shoot, and he just not warmed up and just dunked it. And he's like, he's not tall, is he?
Nah, he's not tall, but he's super athletic.
Yeah, I
remember he showed me a video one time of him like. He was just messing around one time, and I think he windmilled or something.
Really?
Yeah, he's crazy athletic.
And obviously, when he scores, not every time, but he does backflips, doesn't he?
That's his signature.
So did he play basketball as well? Like when you knew him growing up?
No. To be fair, I only knew him in college. That's how we met. Because obviously, all the sports in college are very like obviously not. I wouldn't say close, but because we're all in the same like area, everyone's kind of knows everyone. So
yeah. So you kind of, as you say, you sort of grow up. You go into the, you go to SGS College. What sort of players that Flyers fans would know that were on your team, your same age group when you were in the academy?
AJ Edu.
Yeah.
He's going on to do great things. I played with Lewis Petit, Bruce, Ajay, Aidan Khan. Yeah, there was a lot. Corey as well. Samuels. Yeah.
And then obviously one thing we wanted to cover as well was the fact that you, like Sam and I, are UE alumni.
Yeah.
Because you played for the UE team whilst you were with the men's second team as well, and you were part of the side that went all the way to the Bucks final.
Yeah, well, that year was good. We had a good team. Obviously, played with Malcolm. Corey was on that team. Had got a couple guys from America. A couple of my friends from London.
Who was that point guard?
Sam Saunders was there. Yeah. Good player. Yeah, good player.
Yeah, really talented team.
And then you went to the stupid final and stupid Mackenzie lit it up, didn't he?
Yeah, you just went dummy.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you played Loughborough Riders in Loughborough University in the final, and they have a lot of Leicester Riders players. I think like Connor Washington on the team, Kimball McKenzie was on the team.
He lit up though. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought like we started the game and everyone was playing for that team as well that time.
What, a uni team?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. So we I think we must have went like 11-0 up or something. So obviously everyone's like, right, like I think we could do it, innit? And then Kimball just started moving crazy. So
yeah, he did.
That push though was so fun because we came to when you guys started getting like near the end, we came to quite a few of those games at UE and watched, and there was just so much fun. Corey was like getting alley oops thrown at him and stuff. It was just sick, wasn't it?
Yeah, we just found a way to like bring energy to that place. But yeah, I think a lot of the people started getting more involved, like the students that are coming, so it was good.
Yeah, we took the podcast down there last year or year before.
It was that year.
Yeah, so we took the podcast down there, got surprised by some Corey Samuels alley-oops.
Well, it was funny because so that was the VJ King year, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And all those guys with like, I think like 7 of them or 8 of them came down to watch you guys play, and it was quite funny because they were on the baseline like running out when you did something cool, weren't they?
Yeah,
so,
they always used to show up for us. So
I always say when I go to watch a UE basketball game, it feels like you're stepping into a Ball is Life video, where the fact that you got the seats like literally on the side of the court, and then as soon as a big play happens, everyone goes absolutely bonkers. and then obviously, Ebu, we get on to you moving away from Bristol, and obviously you had that. Was the Solent spell before the UE spell? Is that how?
Yeah. That was like after I finished at SGS.
Yeah. So you go to Solent for, was it 1 or 2 years?
I was there for 3 years. Actually.
3 years.
Yeah, that's where I did my undergrad. Yeah.
I see. And then you came back to Bristol for your last year.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then obviously you get to the point where you move on to Essex and you join the Rebels. Was that for you just I want to play in Div 1 or see how high level I can play in? I want to. What was the reasons for moving away to Essex?
I did want to look for a team that I could play for. I spoke to Ross like during that summer. It's actually quite last minute. I was like one of the last people to get signed, I think. And yeah, I ended up going there, and it was a good time.
And then you obviously had that successful season there, and then the opportunity sort of presents itself for you to return to Bristol and be part of the first team setup in the end. And just what do you remember about the conversations you had with Coach Gapulas? What was he saying to you before coming back into the Flyers program?
Yeah, well, we had a few conversations over this summer. Sorry. And yeah, he obviously me and him have always had like a good relationship since I was 16. So it was very easy to talk to. And he just said that he would take me on board and he wanted me to be part of the program. Obviously, I also want to do it as well because Bristol's my home. So yeah. Well,
here you are, mate, and it's great to have you back with us.
You said your mum listens to every single episode.
Yeah, she does. Sometimes I'll be at home or I'll just come back and I'll just hear her. She in the kitchen, she just got on her TV or she'd go on her phone. She literally watches all of them. So.
Oh, really?
Big shout out for your mum.
Yeah,
Go on.
Big shout
Do
out
it into
to man.
camera 2
Big
over
shout
there.
out, man.
Down this way. There you go.
I know you're going to be watching this, so big shout out to you, man.
Amazing.
You have to go home and hear our two voices chatting nonsense, basically. Is that what it is?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, you're probably sick of our voices by now.
I know I am.
Brilliant. Ebu, that's a great chat, but let's get on to our next sections of the podcast. Do stick around with us. We're going to go through news, and we've also got to go through wrong answers only. I missed my cue there for Sam to press the soundboard. Thanks, Sam. Ebu, you probably know this segment of the podcast. We put 30 seconds on the clock. We ask every player who comes on the podcast to answer as many questions as they possibly can in 30 seconds. These ones are all Christmas themed because it is Christmas in 2 weeks. Right, so you've got to get the wrong answers only. So if I say, what colour is your hair? You would say something like yellow. And that is a wrong answer, which means it's a right answer. Producer Dan, you're going to keep tally. And your 30 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Complete the lyric. All I want for Christmas is...
Me.
What noise does the turkey make?
Roof.
What do you traditionally pour over a Christmas dinner?
Ketchup.
What did my true love give me on the first day of Christmas?
Water.
What might you shove inside a turkey to give it some extra flavour?
Eggs.
What will the king be doing on BBC One in the afternoon on Christmas Day?
Singing.
What is so special about Rudolph's nose?
The colour. Green.
What is eggnog? What's in eggnog, sorry?
Chocolate.
I'll give you one more question because Sam stalled in the last one. What do you do if you find yourself underneath some mistletoe with somebody?
Hug.
Hug. Producer Dan.
Well,
Any queries?
I mean, you could hug somebody under the mistletoe, but I get the tradition is normally a big old fat kiss. So I think in that case, we'll go for a full 9.
9. That's a good
That's it.
score.
What is in eggnog?
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Is chocolate in eggnog?
Inside eggnog is like, egg yolk.
Oh,
Of-
yolk, not
of
white.
Egg yolk. And then we've also got,
Cinnamon?
well, I've got sugar in here,
Yeah.
a little bit of nutmeg in there as well.
And nutmeg.
What's the main liquid?
Alcohol.
Oh, what kind of alcohol?
So they recommend brandy, rum, bourbon, or whiskey.
Oh, it sounds good. Yeah,
Not all
alright.
4 of those things. One of those things should go in your eggnog.
Producer Dan, for our Christmas special, your job is to source some eggnog and we will taste it. I've never had
Okay.
it before.
Sure.
Same.
You had it before?
No.
No. All right, well, we'll try it.
Yeah.
On that note, it's time for us to get to the news.
You're listening to the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Right, we have a lot of news to catch up on because, of course, over the weekend, the big news was that Bristol Flyers punched their tickets back to Birmingham in the SLB Trophy Final.
And punched is probably the correct word there, Jolly, because they were on one, weren't they?
It was a knockout blow from the get-go.
Honestly, it wasn't even. It wasn't that I don't know about you guys, but from our side, I know when a game feels really stressful and doesn't it? It didn't feel that stressful, did it?
Well, of course, it was aggregate score over 2 legs. Are you a big fan of aggregate score? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it's good, to be fair, because you could go up by like 20 one game and now the other team has to like chase. I know that we did that. Well, I wasn't here, but Mike Miller did it the year before I was there.
What
we
a year.
Came back from 11-point deficit it was to win by 14, I want to say.
And
in
one
that.
thing I appreciated actually was the Brandbox guys putting the aggregate score on the scoreboard on DAZN every so often.
Oh, what? Was it actually?
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously I was at the game, so I was watching the game in person.
It
so I
wasn't
didn't-
running, but sort of, what do you reckon, Dan? Every sort of like 3-4 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was more of sort of in stoppages. Here's a little reminder of where we are at score-wise.
that's pretty cool.
So
I
yeah,
appreciated that.
Just to stop people doing maths in their head.
Well, that was obviously game 2. Should we look at game 1?
Yeah, so let's run it back to Friday, where the Flyers beat Cheshire Phoenix 92 points to 83 in the first leg. That gave us a 9-point lead going into Sunday's second leg. And from the get-go, this was quite a back-and-forth game. You sort of felt like in that first period that, okay, this is going to be quite a contest we've got on our hands, right?
Oh, I mean, it was ended by an unreal buzzer beat in that first quarter, though, by Owen McCormack, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. He splashed a
off.
3 and off Elaine Lewis. Well, actually, I've been told it's pronounced Elaine Louis.
I know. The whole
Louis.
game, mate, I was giving it the whole Alain Louis.
Yeah, we have to get him on the podcast at some point. I
He's for ER. I didn't even tell you guys about him. He's funny.
Is he?
Funny.
Yeah, he's funny, man.
Oh, yes, mate.
He's so funny.
We'll get him on the podcast at some point soon. Elaine Louis with the assist to Owen McCormack for the 3. Flyers up 22-20 after the first period. This was Elaine Louis' first home debut as well, wasn't it? And you sort of start to feel that he's really settling into the team, finding his way in the system, because that can be quite tough as a new player coming in like mid-season, I guess. But I think that first game in game 1, obviously before he had that injury, we were really starting to see just sort of the potential that he can bring to the side, right?
Yeah, for sure. I remember the first day he actually came, he was at, it was during the international break.
Yeah.
So he was there, he was training with us. After like the second, third day, like he's already communicating with us as if he's been with us for like since the start. So yeah, man, he's always got positive things to say. He said something after the game against I think it was Cheshire, the first game, about our group being special and stuff like that. So yeah, man, he's basically came in and just been a leader from the jump. So
He's chill on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he can finish well. He obviously hit a big 3 from the other corner. I know we haven't got to that bit yet. And what I think he does well is he draws the D to open up the guys on the perimeter, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a great facilitator.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because in that second quarter, you sort of start to see him get those paint touches, open passes, open looks for three-point shooters, and then in that second period, we take the 46-39 lead into the halftime break. They actually made it a 4-point game to open the second half. Flyers created separation in the third, and then in the fourth quarter, they outscored us 30 points to 23, and they sort of chipped away at that lead and made it close. And we managed to really hold on in that fourth quarter at home to take that 9-point lead into the second leg, right?
They hit a lot of threes, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a spell where they were just hitting everything.
I know this is right at the end of the game, but they hit that dagger. I think it might have been, was it Skylar? He hit a 3 to make it a 7-point game with about 11 seconds left, and we made a clutch play down the other end, which you don't know, like 7 to 9. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but like that is quite a lot in the mindset of like 7 points you can come over quite easily. But Raf hit a big 2 from like behind the backboard almost, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was a good shot by Raf.
I think they made a coaching boo-boo, because at the timeout they advanced the ball.
Completely agree.
So they get 14 seconds, where if you inbound from the baseline, you get 24, and you've basically ran the game out. So if you score a 3 off that, it's a 6-point game,
7-point
game,
yeah.
going into second leg. Well, and the fact that you've given us an extra possession, maybe Keedy goes a little bit earlier, we get the offensive rebound off the layup, and then they kicks it out to Raf. It was a tough shot because it's off the dribble as well, going baseline into the corner.
And behind the backboard, literally.
Yeah, and it literally was. And then he makes it, and then suddenly what could have been a 6-point game is suddenly a 9-point game going into the second leg. And that's huge. That's quite a big mindset thing going into the second game, right?
Yeah,
that
sure.
If you look at like a double-digit lead, it looks so much harder to come back from than a 6-point game, right?
Do you think so I agree, I think it's a coaching boo-boo, but what do you think the counter to that is? What other reason could he have done it? Do you think maybe they're then looking for a steal? Or?
Maybe just trying to make it as close as possible going into the second leg, I presume.
Yeah, it was kind of like they wanted like a bucket, and then they wanted to like hold off maybe for the last shot or something. I don't know.
But they've done that before. They've done like in the second leg they had done that. It's like picking off inbounds passes and scoring again. Do you know what I mean? So suddenly if they're trying to do that at the end of the first leg going into half time, and then they could make it like a 4-point game or a 3-point game with another 3. Do you see what I mean? So suddenly maybe they're trying to do that, and they have done that a lot. So it's I guess whatever coach wanted to do in the end, but.
The thing is, 9 points is a really good lead, obviously, but it's not like unattainable as a comeback, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
So, top scorers in this game, by the way, Keedy Johnson, again, just continuing his absolutely outrageous form. 28 points in this one to lead the way for Bristol. Evan Walsh had a great game as well. 7 for 12 from the field, 19 points. And he was a killer out there, wasn't he? He felt like Keedy sort of started it and Evan Walsh sort of picked up, and he was knocking the threes down. He was 4 for 8, 50% from deep.
I thought he had 5. Do you reckon he had his foot on the line on one of them?
Potentially.
I think that's probably what it was, because it looked like I remember it being 5, like, right, but then I didn't see them always holding the 3. So, do you know what I think? I didn't say this earlier as well. I think Elaine makes Keely's already unbelievable, but I think he even adds to make him even better because lets him get some freedom on the perimeter, and they can drive in again.
On the ball as much.
That's it. Because obviously at college, KD plays the 1 quite a lot, but then we saw last season that he can also play the 2 at more the combo position. So when you've got a point guard like that, distributing point guard you can play it off, then suddenly that, and Elaine's got the ability to get to the basket, slash and score. So if you don't, double that that penetration of the first instance, like there's always going to be, he's always going to score on you. So you have to respect that as well.
That guy's mid-range though. That's disgusting, isn't it?
I can't lie, our team's very like we said it from day one, like we have a very versatile team. So we have a lot of guys that can do a lot. Like we have Les, he can stretch the floor, can post up. Raf's very versatile. Keedy's obviously very versatile. Kendall's versatile. Evans, everyone's really like versatile. So it's a good mix.
Yeah. And then we get on to the second leg, where we have a 9-point lead to protect away from home. It's on Sunday. And Bristol Flyers, this was a high-scoring game. 108-102, they came out on top, which meant that the Flyers won 200 points to 185 on aggregate. Let's run this game back to the start. Flyers, they sort of streaked out to an early 8-4 lead. It was just teams exchanging buckets at this rate. And I feel like whenever you get into that sort of scoring race, because we're a more offensive-minded team this season, especially with us having a 9-point lead already, that's always going to favour us. And it went into the locker rooms at half-time tied. And then all of a sudden, it was tied in the night, but it was still a 9-point aggregate
54-54, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And Cam Holden was sort of carrying the load for them offensively. He was their leading scorer. Evan Walsh, again, came off the bench. He tied up the leg going into the half, 54 apiece at the half-time, as Sam says. And then the third quarter, that's when we went on our run. Yeah. And the 5 on the floor were incredible. Jared Sherfield just became a man possessed out there.
Yeah, he was just moving crazy. All on the bench, we were just like, what's going on type thing.
We were watching you guys on the bench from the screen. It's in every time you're like, what, like smashing the boards and stuff, because it was. But he was just pulling up like, that it was almost that sort of like left to right pull up. It was just unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah, like he's been doing well for sure. But I feel like everyone kind of saw him going into this game like focus and stuff. He really wanted to have a good game, so he really did. So
yeah.
Well, the commentary were like obviously talking about Keedy all the time, and then every so often they'd be like, "Hang on a sec, Jared Sherfield's on 30 points. He's on 36
I didn't even realize it either. Like I thought, obviously, I knew he scored a lot, but I didn't realize it was 36.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like we have a lot of guys you can. Like one day it could be Keedy's day, 1 minute it might be Jared's day, 1 minute it might be Evans' day. Like that can happen all around.
Yeah.
Everyone's chipping in there a little bit. Kendall's chipping in.
Yeah.
You don't really see Kendall's points in that, but he's damn near averaging a double-double.
Yeah.
Damon's obviously coming in. Like Raf's been playing well, so yeah, we've got like a very versatile team.
Yeah, and also 6 steals for Jared Sherfield, so he's getting it done both ends of the court as well, and you don't often see that. That, by the way, 36 points was a Flyers. Well, it's a Jared Sherfield career high. It's broken all of his previous points in the games, even throughout his college career and his high school career. He was telling me after the game.
I heard it was a Flyers record, is it?
It was a Flyers record.
Was it a Flyers record?
It was a club record, 36 points in a game.
35 before that?
Yeah, 35 was the previous record sent by Gentry Thomas in 2019.
Guy was he was jelly, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was great. He was great. And then Cheshire sort of made their little fake comeback at the end, and you feel like it's going to be a bit twitchy, and it got close in the tie, but then you still got the 9-point lead you're sitting on from the first leg.
But do you know what? I don't care. Like I love that we had the 9 points or whatever, but something about just winning the game regardless.
Yeah, that's what coach was saying. Like he was just going into the game like just win both games. And obviously the second game we were like really like it should have been more than what it ended up with.
As in we should have won by more.
Yeah, it was. I think we were up by like 30 at one point.
On aggregate.
20,
it was 21 points or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the third quarter we were up pretty big, and you know that run's coming because that's exactly what Cheshire do throughout the whole game.
Well, we won 34-17 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy because we like since the start of the season we've been starting a bit slow third quarter, but that third quarter is definitely our best third quarter.
But they can though. You got Skylar, you got some of the other guys like can just hit threes, can't it? RJ was hitting threes, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, they got They've got guys that can get going for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just to run through some of these bonkers stat lines we've got here. Jared Sherfield with a club record 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 steals. Keedy Johnson, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
17 free throws as well.
17 for 17 from the foul line.
17 for 17.
He got fouled 13 times in the game.
Dan Routledge was going on and on and on about that should be counting in the like double-double, triple-double stats as like a stat you should be able to count. It was funny though.
Here's a stat line for you that could have easily got player of the game in any other game apart from this one. Damon Robinson, 17 points, 8 rebounds on there. Also, Kendall Lewis at 10 points and 8 rebounds as well. Evan Walsh, 9 points at the bench. It means that Flyers punch their ticket to Birmingham, as we say. And producer Dan, you are getting set for a big broadcast with Brandvox for that game, right?
Well, indeed. And I must say that on Sunday, obviously the guys at SLB are all unbiased at all. They're just putting on the show for you guys, apart from me. Because I was sat doing the replays for the Bristol Flyers second leg, and I was making some noise, Joel. I was excited watching that. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I was like Ric Flair. I was just like, woo! Every time something happened, I was just making noise for the whole game. It was brilliant.
I love that.
The only shame about this whole situation is that the replay between Newcastle and Leicester isn't until like December the 22nd or
Yes.
something.
That is right.
So why is that?
I don't know, scheduling probably.
Well, they think they play this weekend in the league in Leicester.
They should have just made it that game.
I
then.
know. So we've got to wait 2 more weeks to find out who we're playing, but it's going to be either Newcastle Eagles or Leicester Riders.
That game's very close, by the way.
It's a 4 points.
4-point game.
You got any preferences over you want Leicester or Newcastle?
I mean, we haven't played Newcastle at all this year, I don't think. No, we haven't.
You played them in pre-season.
Yeah, pre-season, but it's a bit different. But yeah, Leicester, we played them first game in the season and they beat us, so like, yeah.
You've got to already play them once in between now and the final anyway, haven't you, on the 27th, so...
Yeah.
Well, we had that overtime game as well in the trophy, didn't we, at home, and played against Leicester. It was a very high-scoring game, that one.
Yeah.
So watch this space. As soon as we find out who we'll be facing, we'll be putting it on social media. Other news to get to, off the back of those 2 massive performances from Keedy and Jared, they were both named in the Super League Team of the Week, so congratulations to them. Other news to get to, we also announced trophy final ticket information. Of course, as we said, it was 200 to 185 on aggregate, which means that we're going to play Leicester or Newcastle in the final. Sunday, January 26th is the date of the final. At the time of recording, we're recording this podcast on a Wednesday, so that means that season ticket holders and members will have already received an email with a link to buy their tickets for the final before they go on general sale, which is this Friday at 10 a.m.
Busy week for the Flyers, that, because they have the final and then they fly straight out to Estonia the next day.
We do. We go to Estonia the day after the SLB Trophy Final, so that will be exciting times. So as we say, we've got a fan section. We've got a big allocation of tickets to sit behind the team bench. Ticket relocation, I've got to mention, if you've already purchased a ticket for the SLB Trophy Final and you are not in the Flyers fan section and you'd like to be relocated, you can contact our supporter services team, supporterservices@bristol-sport.co.uk. Give us your name, email address, your block, row and seat number that you bought, and we will try to relocate you if possible. There's also, we're looking at doing a coach travel for supporters to the SLB Trophy Final. I can confirm. Details of that are TBC. So watch this space on that as well. We will put out news about the coach travel. Basically, you'll be able to pay us a certain amount of money and you get a bus to and from SGS or somewhere in North Bristol for that game.
Cool.
Other news to get to. Sam, I don't know if you can smell that, but it smells like British basketball beef.
It's time for British basketball beef.
Sponsored by Cow and Sow. Up the cow and sow. We've got some beef. It's the return of British basketball beef. And this caught my eye over the week because Cheshire Phoenix, after us beating them twice in the SLB Trophy Final last weekend, they put out a club statement saying, "It is with great regret that the club have parted ways with Taj Teague and Cam Christen with immediate effect due to a serious breach of club rules." Now, probably we'll never find out what the serious breach of club rules was.
I know what it was.
Well, go on.
Being absolutely schooled by the Bristol Flyers 2 games in a row, Joel.
Yeah.
Did they miss a flight?
I don't know if they did a Plymouth and miss a flight, but there must be something there. So that's become a surprise to everyone in the British basketball community. They then followed that up with another statement from their general manager, James Bryce. And that says, thank you for your unwavering support so far this season. Whether we're riding high on wins or facing the sting of tough losses, your passion and loyalty are what make our club so special. We know the last few weeks have been a bit challenging, and trust me, no one feels the weight of those moments more than the players, coaches and management. Basically, it continued. You can check it out on their website. It continued to say they're actively trying to find replacements and saying that the fans should not be worried. We do face them again on Sunday, by the way, after our trip to Essex Rebels in the SLB Cup.
Does that mean they won't have had time to get new players in, or what? What do you reckon?
I won't know. Keep your eye on their social to see if they announce a new player, I guess.
How long does it take to normally do that? Can it be done quite quickly?
It depends how premeditated the departures of the two previous players were. So they may have someone lined up or ready to go. I know LaQuincy Riddow's not got a team right now.
Oh, that dude. Oh, no, thank you. I love Quincy. He's so good.
So, so watch this space. Other news to get to. Chris Bourne, got to give a shout out to Chris Bourne because the BBF have announced their assistant coaches for the junior GB national teams, and our very own Chris Bourne has been named as an assistant coach to the GB under-18s men's team ahead of the FIBA Youth Eurobasket tournaments.
Shout out Chris, man.
Shout out Chris
That's
Bourne.
big, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, he does so much for the junior pathway at SGS, and of course has done this for a number of years now with the GB national teams as well. What's he like? How much of an influence has he been for you, Ebu, on your sort of growing up career?
Yeah, Chris was my coach playing D2, but obviously throughout the years, like he's been around and he's helped me a lot with like workouts in summer and stuff like that. So yeah, man, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
So.
Final bit of news I've got for you, and this one is something that caught my eye, and that was an Instagram post by one of our favourite accounts on social media, British Basketball Memes. Sam, you follow British Basketball Memes?
Obviously.
Obviously. We love British Basketball Memes here on the Flyers podcast.
Whoever it is, they are brutal, aren't they?
They're savage in the most beautiful way possible.
Do you follow?
Yeah, man, I saw something this morning as well. They put something of us. They've been roasting us about our kits and stuff.
They have been roasting us about our uniforms, yes. Which I quite like our uniforms, so I don't know what they're on about there.
It's because he doesn't have a team, so he's salty.
Yeah.
He's a Plymouth fan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is he a Plymouth fan?
Yeah.
That would explain it. But with Christmas right around the corner, they posted a carousel of memes of what every club would like for Christmas. Producer Dan's got them here on hand. First up, we have one here from Manchester Basketball, and this is what Manchester Basketball want for Christmas.
That's so mean.
And that is 3 wins. Or just 1 win. Might be quite nice.
Yeah,
what we got next, Producer Dan? It's Cheshire Phoenix, and there is LaQuincy Rideau. They would love him back for Christmas because they're not doing too great right now.
It's quite a mugshot, isn't it?
It is quite a mugshot. And finally, Sam, before we get onto this one, they actually give the Bristol Flyers podcast a shout out here because they say they give a gift here for what the Bristol Flyers podcast want for Christmas. What do you think it is?
I've seen it, so I know what it is.
Oh, you've seen it. Get it up on screen, producer Dan, because the Bristol Flyers podcast want Bristol Bears women's star Ilona Maher to come on the podcast.
She's just been, she's just been announced as the Bristol Bears woman player, right?
Oh.
But she is massive. She's got like a massive following on socials.
Yeah, Ilona Maher, she is the most famous rugby player in the world, triple Olympian, Dancing with the Stars contestant and social media icon. Producer Dan, tell us more.
I mean, it's a massive name to join the Bristol sport family. So if she would like to come on the Bristol Flyers podcast, she's more than welcome. We're all in the same family here.
Yes.
But yeah, just for context, to bring it back to basketball, if you like, I was looking up who the most followed basketball players are on Instagram. Ilona Maher has more followers than the following. She has more followers than Victor Wembanyama, Jaylen Brown.
What's Victor on that?
What?
How many followers has
So
Victor
Victor has 4.3 million.
got? Damn.
Jaylen Brown has 4.1. Anthony Edwards has 4.4 million. She's got more than him. She's on 4.7 million followers.
Wow.
That's quite a big name.
Yeah, that's
Massive name.
When you put it like that, Dan, I appreciate that. Fair enough. Yeah.
And well, we have to invite Alona Mar down to a game because she's coming. She's sort of joining us from January, isn't she, in the new year? So, Alona Mar, if you're listening to the Bristol Flyers podcast and you'd like to come to a Bristol Flyers game, you're more than welcome. We will reach out to the Bears media team. We'll make it happen, or hopefully, or just send you the invite. You haven't got to come if you don't want to. And if you do want to, if you do come down to a game and you enjoy it and you want to come on the Bristol Flyers podcast, we will happily have you down the Bristol Flyers podcast. We would love it if you came on the Bristol Flyers podcast. But I'm sure she's getting a lot of requests from around the Bristol Sport group right now.
I bet she's getting requests every literal which way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's all we want for Christmas.
It is all we want for Christmas. It is. That would make our Christmas as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just a bit of context as well. I reached out to the Bears women's media team and in terms of like what happened after the signing announcement was made. Her announcement received 393,000 likes, 3.6 million views on social. 97% of the people who engaged with the post were non-followers. Between December 2nd and December 9th, Bears Women Instagram grew by 22,000 to 61,000 followers, and the Bears TikTok grew by 22,000 new followers in a week.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it?
That is mad. We need to sign a player like that to grow our TikTok and grow our Facebook channels, Dan.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, if you're listening.
Not enough followers, mate.
Yeah, not enough followers.
The one actually knows him, so.
Does he really?
Yeah, the one knows him. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we'll get him.
We'll get the monobrow here.
Yeah. Right, and that's it for this week's news.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Right, Ebu, time for us to wrap up this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers Podcast. We've got some mailbag questions that have come through. First question is from British Basketball Daily, and we think we know the answer to this question. Are you looking forward to the Essex Rebels game this weekend?
Yeah, I think everyone knows.
That sort of gets me on to another question. I've had a few more questions come through around the whole Essex Rebels thing. Who's by Huncho? Man like Stan. He's been in touch. He wants to know, what celly have you got in store when you get a bucket against Essex on Friday?
I don't even know. I don't really have any cellies planned, but I'll probably pull something out.
Hey, he's a quiet soul. Do you know what I mean?
Stan knows
Just
that.
chill.
He knows.
Just a chill guy.
Just chill guy.
Chill guy, man.
Just a chill guy playing against his former team. Pasquale Landolfi, this is probably a bit of an in-joke here. He wants to know, and he's put a bit in brackets in the question as well.
So you got to do it, Charlie.
He said, yeah, okay, so Pasquale Landolfi asks, where did the, loudest you can, yippee come from? Did I do it right? Is that how it's done?
Yippee.
Do us a loud one.
Nah, you don't really say it loud, but you just be like, yippee.
Yippee!
It came from my two friends, Keaton and Dan. They just be saying it all the time. So it kind of just rubbed off on me, and then now I say it. And obviously now, like, it happens around the team now. Like, other people picked up on it.
Oh, yeah? And what's the context? When do you say yippee?
For example, like, if you, like, say we go to get a Subway, and the Subway's in our hands, we be like, yippee. You know what I mean? It's just silly stuff. Like, we might be in the gym and, like, a song you might like, come on, you just be like, yippee. Like, it's just some jokes.
I love that. Yippee! Here goes some fans, Flyers fans, to shout that in the crowd next time Ebuka gets a bucket for the first team.
I'm going to do that if it comes out.
Yeah. You
When
just
we're
say on
at
the
home,
mic,
I should
mate.
do it down the mic.
Yeah. I got a final. Yippee! I got a final question here from Amy Atkinson. What advice would you give to current SGS Academy players who are aspiring to make it as a Flyer?
Obviously, I see a lot of them like, in and around SGS now, and I always see them like they do workouts with Chris all the time, and they play their games and they play hard. I mean, I would probably just say just keep doing what you're doing, and just keep persevering.
Yeah,
there's nothing like perseverance, so I feel like that's a big thing.
I love that. Ebu, thanks for joining us on the Flyers podcast. Best of luck this weekend against your former club, and obviously playing against Cheshire again on Sunday. We can't forget that. You can watch that game over on DAZN. Sam, great podcast.
Always is with you, Jolie.
Well,
you do a
what can I
great
say?
job.
We're a good team, aren't we, mate? Don't forget, if you are enjoying the Bristol Flyers podcast, to leave us a rating and review on your usual podcast provider. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. All those podcasty things that podcast hosts tell you to do, please go do them. And if you've got a friend that's new to Flyers basketball and wants to learn more about our sporting stars, please share the podcast with them and get them to join our little podcast community. Sam, anything else you want to add before we wrap up this week's episode of the show?
No, sir.
Producer Dan, thanks for pushing the buttons. Ebu, thanks for joining us in studio. Thanks for joining me, mate. And thanks to you at home for listening or watching, if you're watching on YouTube. But until then, we'll see you next week, right here on the Bristol Flyers podcast, powered by Matchday Live.